Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Whatever time it is of day you decide to join me again. For those who are new to my channel, welcome. For those who are returning to my channel, thank you. May God bless you and may He keep you. I decided to come to you today with the topic of why African and African Americans need to unite and the fear that America has for us doing so. I call my channel Exodus America. Many of you know by its title. You know it's Exodus America because I plan that all African Americans and all blacks from the diaspora, that means if you are of the complexion that is considered to be any African heritage, you should leave and return to the continent. You should return to the continent, therefore we build the continent and unite and become a nation. That being said, why would America not want this? And why should we push for this? Okay, so I'll start with my African Americans first because I am one. African Americans, I've told you before that if you check and thoroughly do your research, Europeans are entering into Africa continually. They take their vacations in Africa. They travel to Africa. They go to Africa, and I won't talk about the exploitation, but they visit the continent. While you don't invest even $5,000 to go over and visit the continent, let alone get your passport to see, because they have trained you psychologically that you're anything but African. It amazes me they trained you so much that even Africans themselves think Black Americans are African. Anything but African. Because the media mainstream has played the white supremacy card to not show you Africa in a good light. I am one of the channels that want to change the narrative of this, because I know that they have kept this from you, and to you unbeknowingly, that Africa has a lot of modern conveniences, a lot of things that we would consider to be not there, according to the mainstream media. And then the second game they play is this disunity game. They want to teach African Americans don't like you, and vice versa. They teach it to the African Americans don't like Africans. And this is anything but true. Have you met every African? Have you met every African American? Maybe you ran into somebody who didn't like you personally that happens to be of the same complexion. Well, that's inter-family problems. But don't let the European present it as a common, okay? Secondly, you know, it's funny to me because a lot of us say we're owed reparations. We were forced into building a country and generating wealth for the Europeans and the white Americans. And this wealth we don't benefit from to this day. But let me tell you how to get reparations, okay? This goes out to selective groups that, you know, push for reparations. If you really want reparations, pack up your bags with me and say we're leaving the country. Listen, they would stop you because you're not only taking out of the country trillions of dollars, they'd rather give you millions of dollars. They'd come up with a reparation plan. Now this would come at a price and a condition that you don't leave the country, because you put your dollars back into the country. Every day you get up and go to work, every day you buy a home, every day you try to acquire equal status on this land, they say we have you. This is the supremacist game. If we packed our bags and said, hey, we are leaving, we are done, we're taking our Social Security, which we've earned and worked for, so that can't be denied, and we're going to live and build a place, I believe they'd call out the military and show you that no, you will not take trillions of dollars that you spend because you produce nothing. You not take these trillions of dollars and leave the country with them. In the Bible, You think Pharaoh sent an army after a fleeing people? No. If you read the scriptures correctly, they were taking wealth of Egypt with them. And Pharaoh, like I said, you could go. I didn't say the money could go. You may leave. The money cannot leave. When they decided to not take any more, kidnap any more people off the continent, they said we have enough to create our own slaves. This slave will hold no alliance or allegiance to the continent of his ancestors' birth, nor will he know it. To him, there'll be no greater place on earth than this place. But at the same time, he'll have no full right of citizenship. And we'll do everything we can to take that citizenship, including imprisoning them, giving them felonious felonies. We'll teach them, we'll nationalize them. Nationalization. I love America. Every time they make you sing it, your psyche goes into America. But yet, every time you are reminded that your paperwork says African American, it should strike a chord in you to say, hey, fool, I'm an American. Why do they keep putting this African American on here? And I tell you again, because people are known by the land in which their ancestors came from. But the real game that they play is, we want you to go back to Africa. And you really do not. You don't want me to go back to Africa. If you did, you would have stopped Marcus Garvey. If you did, Lincoln wouldn't have only sent us free slaves. For the 400 years that we've been here, they do not want you to go. They want you to stay right here and keep spending your money and being a piece of property. We don't want you uniting to the country that has resources and wealth that you could build and unite Africans. My brothers and sisters. Yes, we need to make those connections. We need to say, hey, we are one people. Enough of there are tribes in every country in Africa. And these tribes have intertribal conflicts. But when the European comes, he doesn't care about what tribe you are or your ethnic diversity. All he says is you are just another Negro. No different than the African American I ran into in America. No different than the European African I ran into up in London. No different than the one down in Brazil or the one in Jamaica or the one in South America or wherever we stuck you on the continent. You are still all the same. And since he looks at us as all the same, then I can look at us and say, my brothers and my sisters. And when you truly start to understand this, you'll truly understand his fear. United we stand, divided we fall. And this is a message video. I want to thank my brothers like Phil Scott and Go Black and Jay Cameron, who are really understanding why I call my channel Exodus America, why I implore you to say, hey, visit the continent, make an attachment, and let's start a real movement. Why I implore my African brothers and sisters, hey, be gracious, but don't let the Europeans continue to play the game and fool you and say, hey, we now love you. I implore you to understand this, why I say that we need a new foundation. Many of us are from West Africa that are African American. So that would cover everywhere from Mali all the way down to the Congo. And then other places that we were taken out of. We're still African. One land, one people. When the Asian found this out, he united China. and China didn't do nothing but grow into a superpower. What more could we do together? Now, I know many of you think, oh, we have bad leadership in Africa. Hey, like all things, that will change. But a new beginning is coming. There's an awakening. I see the movement. Thank you, my African YouTubers, that are changing the narrative throughout Africa, showing it. Because believe me, they are playing a game. And they are playing a terrible game. They're playing a psychological, mental warfare. You captured the mind, you captured the man. So, I'm going to say to you this. Hopefully, I'll see you soon, my African Americans, on the continent. I am planning to do that this year. I hope you join me and continue to understand true freedom. True freedom is that of an inheritance of a birthright. And that birthright is not born in America, because slavery was an event that happened in our history. Colonization was an event that happened in our history. Before that, we had kings and queens. The other day they did a whole thing on the Queen of England. We were having kings and queens before Europe knew what the word king or queen meant. Chiefs, tribalmen, leaders of the community. You think this is we taught this to them. Now they celebrate it like it's some great happening. It is not. When they met Africans on the continent, there was royalty. When they met Africans on the continent, there was civilization and government. They were shocked at the fact. Grow out of this mentality that we can't have again what we had before they got there. And the only way we're going to do that is that we unite, that we move on out. America, Black African Americans, there is places better than America. I'm sorry. I know you think the master's house was built and it's grand and one, but if you don't have a part in it, that means you're not an investment. We're still property. They just let you go out and get a new car and sell you an expensive home, overpriced, stretch your credit out, stress you out, and take your wealth away and put it back into their coffers. I want us to grow up. Grow up. So, I say this to you. God bless you. May He keep you. I implore you, challenge you. Go to the continent, visit the continent, make a friend, make a connection. Africans, continue to be welcoming, and we will work together and strive together. May God bless you and keep you.